Hello friends, in this lecture we will know about hole feature in CATIA. So basically we will know how to create hole in the geometry. So we can find this hole command in this toolbar. So this is the hole. So right now we can see the hole command is not highlighting. So first of all we need to create some 3D geometry and then we can use this hole command. So before going to this hole, we need to understand about some different types of standard holes. So generally in CATIA, we have different types of hole. These holes are blind holes, tapered hole, counterbore hole, countersink hole and counter drilled hole. So first of all, we will know about all these holes one by one. So in this example, we can see a blind hole. So a blind hole is basically a hole that is reamed, drilled or milled to a specified depth value without breaking through to the other side of the workpiece. So we can see in this example, we have a drill tool and we are creating a hole. It is called blind hole because it is not a through hole. So it is not crossing this object. And the second type of hole we have is the tapered hole. In the tapered hole, the hole diameter changes along the length. And we can see we have a hole. So its diameter is decreasing along the length. So the main dimension in the taper is taper angle. That is specified by this angle theta. And the next type of hole we have is the counterbore hole. So a counterbore hole is basically a cylindrical fillet hole that enlarge another coaxial hole. Now we can see in this example, we have a larger hole on the top and then on the bottom we have a smaller hole. So this is called a counterbore hole. So counterbore hole is typically used when a fastener such as socket head cap screw is required to sit flush. Similarly, the next type of hole we have is the countersink hole. So there is a difference between countersink and counterbore hole, that in the counterbore hole we have a rectangular profile on the top, while in the countersink hole we have a conical profile. Now we can see in the top the diameter is decreasing in a conical way. And the next type of hole we have is the counter drilled hole. So in counter drilled hole we have multiple holes of different depth at the same center. And we can see in this example we have two holes of different diameter, but these are of common center. So threads are basically used to fasten the geometry. So now in the threading we have some parameters such as diameter, that is major diameter, minor diameter and pitch diameter. So the value from this point up to this end point is called the pitch and that is called the diameter. We can also understand this from this example. We have hole diameter and then thread depth. So up to this point that is called thread depth and this is complete value is called hole depth. And then we have hole support plane and thread diameter. So now we are going to create some hole in the CATIA software. So first of all, we will create some 3D geometry. I go to pad option and then click on sketch. Select this top view. On this, I go to rectangle and draw a rectangle like this. Click on exit workbench and then click OK. So we can give it some height. I give this value 2 and then click OK. After that, we need to create the hole. So I go to hole tool. Click on this hole option and now first thing it is asking us to select a plane or to select a sketch. So I select this top surface. Click on the surface. Onto the surface we can see the preview of a hole. So right now this hole is very large, so we need to set the parameters. And now in this hole dialog window, the first thing it is asking us to select the hole. So we have blind hole, up to next, up to last, up to plane or up to surface. So this point is specifying basically the value of its depth. So I want a hole up to blind. So blind means we can specify the value of depth. After that it is showing the diameter of hole. So let's say I want the diameter of hole 1. Click on preview. Now we can see a hole of diameter 1. So we can insert the depth value. So let's say I insert this value 1.5 because the depth of this plate is 2 and then click on preview. Okay, before this we can also specify the exact location of this hole. So for this I click on this positioning sketch. Onto this I click on this arrow, and now we need to specify the position. And now we can see this point is highlighting. So this point is basically the center of sketch. So we need to insert the constraint to specify a location for this. I go to constraint option, select this bottom line and select this point. Give it some dimension. So I insert this value 3.5, and we need to also insert this value with respect to this vertical. So select this point and then specify a location. So I insert this value 8.5 and then click on exit workbench. So now we have properly defined the position of this hole. I can click OK.